is this? Apparently, heat transfer experimental reactors. Pretty cool. Definitely have to check it out.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of No Tears Frontiers Diaries.
In this series, we go all over the world on our KTM 1190. We ride 2 up, and we are currently on a journey to Alaska. In the last episodes, we have just finished our motorcycle tour with Temple of Moto in and around Yellowstone National Park. And so in this episode, we're going to talk today about us crossing Idaho, which is an incredible state.
Amazing. It's got more than potatoes, folks.
Yes. Good morning. We are packing up. It's our last day of the Temple of Moto tour. So actually, that's over. So today we're packing up and leaving and heading off to Idaho. And it's kind of sad. We have to say goodbye to Mark and Erica and Michele. And but then we'll just be heading on down the road as we make our way west to Boise and eventually to Bend, Oregon, which is our next destination for Overland Expo Pacific Northwest.
You know, everybody we meet in Idaho says, don't stop saying Idaho's so beautiful. It's a well-kept secret. You know, say like Iowa's beautiful. Indiana, you know, it ranks third on the list of states that begin with I. But it's definitely an amazing place with a lot of back roads and a lot of exploring to do.
As we go through Idaho, we're going to be taking a path that we took before. Tonight, hopefully, we'll be able to stay in Chalice Hot Springs, which is, well, one of my favorite stops that we had in Idaho. It's a nice campground and some really nice hot springs there. And then after that, the road goes through Sawtooth Pass. So that should be really nice as we make our way to Boise. We really lucked out with good weather today because nobody likes packing up in the rain and cold. So we're thankful about that since the weather here is so unpredictable. And then we'll be heading off, saying goodbye to Yellowstone. From West Yellowstone, which is technically in Montana,
Yep.
but then crossed immediately into Idaho.
Within like miles, yeah.
Yep. There are swans out here. I never see swans. It's so cool. And then our stretch west, for the most part, went through a very arid area.
The very beginning of crossing into Idaho is a little bit more tame, if you will, compared to the central part of it. That tameness, along with just kind of the exhaustion of bad weather in West Yellowstone, I was really pooped.
You were really tired.
Yeah, I wanted to pull over. It's a smart thing to do, right? Like, I wasn't like closing my eyes for minutes at a time or anything, but you know, I had my throttle lock on, I had my feet on the highway bars that I had installed.
Yeah, it was just this long, straight road through, kind of, it felt like the middle of nowhere.
It was in the middle of nowhere. And
yeah.
It's been known to be the middle of nowhere because that's where they put I saw a little sign for a nuclear reactor, something or another. I don't know. I saw a big like atom painted on in a museum. And I figured it was as good a place to any to pull over and check something out and get a little bit of rest as well.
Well, actually, it was the only place.
It was the only place around.
I mean, there was nothing else out there, and he chimed in on the intercom, was like, I think I need to take a rest, and I said, that's fine, we'll just pull over wherever, and we just happened to pass this place, and we pulled into there, and thankfully, they had a little shaded area with some picnic tables. You were able to take a nap.
Folded up my jacket into a pillow and took a nap.
I had a little snack. I made some phone calls. I was, just keeping myself occupied. And
like pulling into the parking lot where the picnic tables were are these huge they look like Allspark cubes or something from,
really
the Transformer planet. I have no idea what they were.
What is this? It was like future past or past future, like the Jetsons' idea of what the future should look like.
It was really strange. And upon closer inspection, they were heat transfer, nuclear heat transfer thingamajiggers. Something my bike could use because the bike gets really, 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 really hot. But just a little bit.
Does.
I think we're carrying enough already to not carry around these 4-ton things. But
so these things, all these big rail systems that.
Oh, I see the tracks.
Yeah.
Really interesting to look at. A heck of a pit stop. So after I took my little nap, we woke up and there's a main museum to the place.
Right. Now, I had been looking at these strange things while Tim was napping, and I'm like, where are we?
I took a grown man sleep.
Right. Your grown man sleep in the afternoon. And when Tim woke up, I'm like, I think we're at some nuclear reactor site, and there is a museum. And so why don't we check it out?
Yeah.
Is that an airship?
I have no idea what that is.
That looks like an airship. That looks like some
in
Final
the air?
Fantasy stuff. Yeah.
So we're reading all these different plaques about, the technology that they were messing around with back in the day. They wanted to make like a nuclear airship, which sounds like something out of Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah,
But
crazy.
we're reading this little plaque, and it says that back in like 1959 or something, I forget what year it was, but there was an Operation Wiener Roast to see if they had a nuclear plane and it crashed. They didn't want, a nuclear explosion or all this waste to go everywhere. So I think they did it on purpose, and it was, indeed called Operation Wiener Roast.
We hung out with some Air Force folk before, but they never told us about Operation Wiener Roast.
Operation Wiener Roast.
So thank you, U.S. government, for
Your awesome names.
For your awesome names. And we walk in, and again, we're in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody else there. And there's two little museum curators that welcome us. And I'm just like, why are you here? Why is any of this here? This is weird, But
yeah, it was really bizarre.
yeah, it was kind of like the Dharma Initiative from Lost. It was just like...
Atoms are split, which releases energy in the form of heat. Oh, restrooms.
Next time we go split some atoms.
Welcome. You've made it to the Dharma Initiative. All the machines and bells and whistles, like it just nothing. It all seemed out of place.
Oh my God.
Sure, that's good.
Tim, stop pressing
I
buttons.
think I need this to plug in level.
It's on the control panel that says radiation.
It seemed like we had gone back 60 years.
Well, we really had, because actually this was the site of the very first nuclear energy power plant in the world.
Dun, dun, dun.
No one else had ever created nuclear power to light a light bulb before.
Yeah.
And they did.
4 of them, in fact.
Yes, we got to see the 4 light bulbs.
Yeah, and a little fun fact that we were reading, one of the reasons why they picked that area is because A, it was so, isolated from anything else in case something went wrong. And B, it's on top of like a water reservoir.
Like an aquifer.
So they could, get water to cool down these nuclear cores.
Yeah.
And so, this pre-nuked potatoes.
What?
Here in Idaho.
What?
Here in Idaho. You know
I
that?
see.
Yeah. It was just strange. It was Atlas Obscura.
Yeah. So when they had to manipulate all of this very radioactive technology, rightfully they were concerned for their own safety. And so they had these crazy thick walls of metal and lead, and then these panes of glass, because they had to see what they were doing inside.
Like 30 panes of this.
I think it was like 36 panes of glass. 39 panes of glass. Whoa.
And it was like tinted green, so it just...
it looked like looking into a fish tank.
Yeah.
Everything was a little bit obscured in that way. It was very bizarre. And then we would walk inside the core, and it smelled.
It smelled like radioactive death.
Yeah.
You know, I've never smelled
really
it before, but it was like if I were inside a microwave in the good like 3-minute stage, it was like, okay, we need to get out of here. You know?
Yeah, it didn't smell, you know, like rotten or something that had died in that sense of bad. It just smelled like I shouldn't be here.
It smelled like the inside of a AAA battery, you know.
Yes.
It was just
something that's just wrong.
And I don't know how many times they power washed it and scrubbed it with, you know,
they say it's totally safe.
Yeah, but something felt odd. And
yeah.
I was re-energized. I had taken a nap. Maybe it was the gamma rays, you know.
Nuclear residue.
Maybe it was the nuclear aftermath that was recharging my cells. But we felt that, you know, it was, we'd experienced it and we could continue to move on.
Yes. It was a very interesting pit stop.
Yeah. So we left and we took a left back down the main road, and mountains started to pop up on the right side, which was beautiful. We were getting into
some nice foothills to the Sawtooth Mountains.
Yeah. Real cool to get into some scenery with a little bit more than nuclear power plants and the such.
Yeah, it wasn't a nuclear wasteland. It was definitely starting to bloom with these beautiful fields of flowers and grass, and you could tell that we were getting towards the mountains of Idaho.
Yeah, so I took a bunch of pictures. There was all these like lavender colored, I don't know, maybe it was lavender, I don't know my flora, but there's a bunch of beautiful flowers and these long sweeping, you know, grasslands with mountains behind it. And yeah, that was a double pick-me-up for me, because it wasn't just, you know, cruise control and highway pegs and stare forward and keep going. There was actually scenery around.
That night was going to be Chalice Hot Springs, which is right in that mountain valley area before the Sawtooth Mountains, and it is a natural hot spring area with a campground, and we had stayed there before and we're really looking forward to this stay again.
Definitely. And it was during, like, there was some bicycle ride competition or jogging competition or something. Our little hidden gem from last year was no longer such a hidden gem. But
That's right.
It was still very beautiful. There was a lot of people. The hot springs were more of a public pool, but, you know.
When we showed up, the lady at the front office said that they were fully booked. But she was kind enough to be like, well, you guys can pitch your tent in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
There's still space for you. And we were very thankful. But she said, yep, we've been discovered.
Yes. But there was a little tree that we found some shade underneath, and we put up our tent, and we went into hot springs.
I don't think so.
We'll get in there.
This is nice.
We just got out of the amazing hot springs of Chalice Hot Springs. This is such a wonderful campground. We came here last year, but it wasn't quite this busy. So they didn't even have an extra camp spot, but they were very generous and said we could just camp in the middle of the lawn, which is what we're doing. And we were still able to go to the hot springs. It was very nice. But the weather looks like, well, it's been kind of drizzling every once in a while, and it looks like it could storm tonight. We'll see. The hot springs were still very nice, but they were filled with people.
Yeah.
Filled to the brim with people. So it was just a little bit of a different experience from the last time that we had been there, but we thoroughly enjoyed our soak.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And then we had a very peaceful night. It did drizzle on us a couple times, and the next morning when we woke up, the skies were a bit overcast, and there was the forecast for big thunderstorms throughout the day.
Stanley, it had some thunderstorms in here, starting at like 11. It's only 8, so we should hopefully be able to get in and enjoy some views and then hunker down.
Yay! But according to what we had heard, if we went west quick enough, we might outrun them.
We were like a surfer on a big wave, you know. It was just like ride the storm cell.
Exactly. So we were like, all right, let's head out. We packed up and headed off west through the Sawtooth Mountains.
And they are fantastic. I remember them from last year too. And again, that was like one of my first, you know, shocking awe moments of what Idaho can offer. And it's just a paved road, you know, and there's a billion little small roads that pop off of it. But the Sawtooth mountains on the main road is just fantastic. You follow a river for 90% of it.
Yeah.
Again, things were much busier this year than last. Every little, pull off where there's a camping spot that seemed to be every, 100 yards, it was full of RVs and other campers, but such a beautiful ride.
Now, I was actually quite chilled from the morning ride. It was a little misty, a little drizzly, and the temperatures were quite low, and I hadn't put on my heated gear. But it was crazy because by the time we lowered out of the mountains and got to Boise, it was hot.
Yeah, the altitude is just about everything in most places, for sure. I'll forever love the Sawtooth Mountain Pass going down because it's just such a great ride, such an easy ride.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we headed into Boise and we met up with our dear friend Brandon Lever, and that's where we are staying now. So stay tuned for our next episode where you get on a dirt bike.
Ooh, this is true.
And explore some of the back roads of Idaho.
I've been on dirt on a bike before, but it's a big, huge bike, and now I'm on this little 250, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But it was a beautiful, beautiful ride. So yes, please stay tuned. Check that out. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell. Ding, ding. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.